Savaged.
This program contains subject matter and language that may be disturbing to some viewers. Viewer discretion is advised.
Real news, it's not fake news.
Answer along the line.
Am I allowed to say that? Oh, I'm not political. Anyway, guys. So yeah, we're ready for this. 1 second.
The left are liars. Stop the fucking bullshit.
Bye. Go home to mommy.
An army or a group. It only takes one person to fight for freedom.
Savage. Unfiltered. Truth or consequence.
I gotta say hello again because my mic was muted. Hello and welcome to Savaged Unfiltered Saturday Live. And yes, as we know now, Michael tends to scare away the women and children if he opens the show, so I guess I'm opening today. Of course, I'm kidding. It's just all in good fun, just a loving tease to my friend Michael. And in honor of today being the weekly MASH show, I figure I should start off with, if you're not a fan of bad singing, don't listen to this. He did the MASH. He did the monster mash. He did the mash. It was a graveyard smash. And yeah, I just came back from dinner too. So in honor of weekly mash, I had, yeah, you guessed it, mashed potatoes. Right? So anyway, that's the lame opening I've got for you today. But
Joseph, you got a lot of lame openings, buddy. Yeah, Joseph, you got a lot of lame openings today. Guys, welcome to Savaged Unfiltered. As you can see, I got a haircut, Joseph. I hope you like it, man.
Yeah,
I had to, it was getting a little long, and I had a project, not too long ago. Joseph knows here on the show, but and hence the name. I had to shave all the beard off. I mean, before it looked like I was a hobo or something, but I mean, I'm looking a lot better now.
Yeah,
so,
some of the poofiness is gone too. We don't have that to make fun of you about tugging on it, showing us it's not a wig, right?
Well, that was part of my Jewish heritage, Joseph. I told you I have like a third Jewish in me, so it's when it gets long, man, the curls come in, But I gotta say, my Scottish and Italian, I look more Scottish and Italian, I think, in some aspect, but Anyway, guys, welcome to today's show. We got a good one today. First and foremost, I want to thank my producer, if it's all right with you, Joseph. Shaky, damn great graphics. You finally got something right. Thank you for putting the uncensored part on the overlay here, because I mean, Joseph, knows, right? We're fucking uncensored, man. We say what we want to say, whether you like it or not, and if you don't like it, the other direction.
Absolutely.
So, Joseph, I before we bring in our guest here, ladies and gentlemen, we have a guest joining us here from the country of Ukraine. Joseph and I were basically picking his brain and picking his skin. If you go back like a few months ago, about 3 months ago, right, Joseph? 4 months ago?
Yeah, it's been a while now. It's been a while.
So we got into the whole Russia, Ukraine, Joe Biden funding, and hopefully we can have a good conversation this time, because the conversation went off the fucking rails. Cousin Sauce that was on the show with us, Sauce was getting a little heated, and he was, Joseph even said the same thing, right, Joseph? I mean, you were like, listen, I'm not picking sides, but Sauce, you gotta, right, Joseph?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, at the end of the day, it's still an unprovoked invasion by one nation upon another. And, I wrote tinyurl.com, Putin Atrocity Apologist. I debunk all the Putin talking points there. But at the end of the day, yes, too. I understand. We, as the taxpayer in the U.S., can't be on the hook for all this. It's time Europe is the main point of that article. Step
Yeah.
up, step forward. And I'm for, if you're hungry, we send you food. You need bullets, okay, we send you bullets. But no money. I'm tired of all this money laundering garbage going on.
Yeah,
Funneling
I'm
into
tired of it too.
Zelensky's pocket, into Biden's pocket, into
Yeah.
who knows who else's pocket. I'm not going to name names here or point any fingers, but,
Yeah.
you know, I'm
Yeah, who-
suspicious of our guest, let me say.
Who suspicious? Well, I'm suspicious of who's joining us here on Twitch because we're streaming on 3 platforms. You could, if you're listening to the podcast, guys, we're streaming live on Facebook, the main page of Savage Unfiltered, including our YouTube page, Savage Unfiltered, and including Twitch. We're back on Twitch, by the way. I think they were begging us to come on. So whoever's streaming us on Twitch, give those comments in. I see a couple coming in. Thank you very much. Joseph, before we get into the whole Ukraine thing, I want to get into this because we're gonna bring our guest in here momentarily, but I want to bring in some weekly gossip here before we get to the Ukraine, because there's been stuff that literally is like touching social media here in America that I could say. What is going on with this new? I don't know if you've heard this, Joseph, but there's a new trend right now on TikTok. I'll put it up here for us. It's this silly looking baby trend. You know what I'm talking about? This new trend that's like literally sweeping TikTok. It's basically taking your current self and then basically transforming it into a baby. I don't understand this. I mean, what, people want to be babies again?
Yeah, normally a couple, like a soon to be wedded couple,
Yeah.
will go and have their faces scanned, and a digitized what your baby might look like has been a thing for decades. But
Yeah.
this is like what, like Benjamin Buttonish crap?
Yeah. I mean, there was a couple of people that are literally using this filter, on TikTok, and they're having a ball with it. And I don't get it. I really don't. I mean, like, you're 35, you're 45. I mean, I even see some elderly people in their 60s and 70s using this fucking thing, Joseph. And I mean, I'm not a big fan of the filters on TikTok. I mean, I'm lying, right, Shaky? Like, I'm lying. Like, I'll use them from the extent, but I'm not like every fucking video, putting the filters and everything else. I'm happy with my face. I don't know, Joseph. Are you happy with your face? Do you want to make yourself look like a 5 or a 4-year-old infant?
No, I'm happy enough. I wish I still had my hair, which came out due to cancer, chemotherapy, and I just shave it now. But it is what it is. I am who I am. I'm not pretending to be someone else, nor am I trying to hide who I am, like a lot of these people probably are trying to do. And let me melt some leftist snowflakes. You're putting a baby up there, even though you're promoting the slaughter of children in the womb. But now you want us to pretend, oh, I care so much about babies. Look at me. My avatar is now a baby.
Oh, God, Joseph.
Give me a break.
Yeah. Break me off a piece of that bullshit bar, right? I mean, come on.
Exactly. See savagearmy.com for that. Yeah.
Yeah. Check out this savagearmy.com website, guys. It's on the very bottom of the page. Break me off a piece of that bullshit bar, because that's what we're seeing right now. Bullshit. I do not want to use this filter. I'm sorry, TikTok. I'm not a big fan of the filters. I could care 2 fucking shits of the filters. So.
Yeah,
but I just wanted to touch on that, Joseph. Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of people do it because they want to look younger, right?
Yeah.
That's been around for a while, the filters to make you look younger. So this, I guess, makes a degree of sense, the next evolution in that moronic concept of I've got to look younger than I am, hubris of some people. So let me put up a baby. Why don't you go to your family photo album and get an actual baby photo and use that as your avatar? You lame piece of shits out there.
Joseph fucking shaky over. Lame piece of shit. That motherfucker, I'm telling you. You fucking piece of shits out there. But the baby filters, Joseph, I'm not a big fan of them. I'm not a fan of the regular filters where it makes you look like 30 years younger. I mean, guys, if you really want to make yourself look younger, go get the creams from like Walmart or like your neighborhood pharmacy market or something and put the cream on, put the mask on and stuff like that. Or just exercise and eat correctly and you won't age. Or don't do drugs, right, Joseph? A lot of people do drugs. They fucking age themselves terribly. Terrible.
Or if you're really that desperate to look younger, pony up the cash and go get the Botox. Don't just be fake and dishonest about it. That's fake and dishonest enough as it is. But at least then you look that way.
Yeah.
With the augmentation, you look that way when you go to bed. You look that way when you get out of bed. It's not a complete fake, phony filter.
Yeah. Fake and phoniness. That's what we're seeing here in America. Fake and phoniness. Guys, I want to jump onto this next story, but I want to let you guys know, you're probably wondering where our commercials and ads are. When we do live streams, no commercials, ad-free. That's right, guys. Ad-free. Yeah, Shaky loving it. I'm loving it too. Ad-free. So I hope you like it. Guys, I want to jump onto this next story that's like literally, blue button jellyfish scare. Like, Joseph, I'm seeing these stories popping through, first with the TikTok thing, now with the jellyfish scare here in Florida. Joseph, I mean, you know me, man. I live in Florida, and, it's a huge concern right now in Florida with the jellyfish.
This whole story is obviously racist. White, woke, political, pathetical corruptness morons. Oh, the blue jellyfish, but the white jellyfish are okay? They still sting people. Yeah, the wokest morons, and I know there are some out there watching. Fuck you. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. Go fuck yourself. Get a life. Get a dose of reality. Right?
Joseph, you're really,
everything's got to be racist, though. So
you're really judgmental this afternoon here, man. I mean, for those that listen to us on the East Coast, it is approaching 4:30 in the Eastern Coast here. But you're really judgmental today, Joseph. What's going on, man? You have a good day or something, or what?
I think maybe I got out of the wrong side of the bed. I was up too early, didn't get enough sleep. So, yeah, maybe I'm a little ornery today. But, we haven't been fully unfiltered for a while either because I'm on terrestrial. I was on 3 shows already today on Wham talking. And with terrestrial, we got to watch it. So I could come in here and unload and just do the fuck you, fuck you, fuck you all I want.
Fuck you. Joseph giving a lot of fuck yous on social media today for those that are listening to us on social media. We could say that on Rumble and Twitch right now. But if we say that on Facebook and YouTube, they might pull the plug. I'm surprised they haven't pulled the plug yet. I'm Shaky. Look at it YouTube and see if Facebook the feeds are still up. So Shaky's gonna look that up and see if they're still running because if they're not,
I may have got us in trouble, huh?
Thank you, Joseph. Jackass.
Too many FUs, yeah.
Jackass. I'm telling you, Joseph. On to this other story.
It's all about driving traffic to Spotify or Our Heart and get those numbers up.
There goes Joseph's Irish. I Heart.
I pulled a Michael there. Right, I did a Michael there. I just didn't get the word.
I Heart, Joseph, not Our Heart. Our Heart.
Yeah.
I think that's like a stone or something.
Well, at least I attempted to use the right word instead of the completely incorrect one.
Yeah. So yeah. So I wanna get this last story in here before we bring in this guest, guys, because these stories, like I said, I've been looking on the internet and I'm like, what the fuck, man? Jellyfish scares, people wanting to be babies on TikTok. Like, what the fuck's up with this shit? I'm serious. Seriously, I'm like, what the fuck? So, and then I came up to this one right here, Joseph. This what the hell is it? This coronavirus vaccine here, which I'm sure our guest here that we're about to bring in from Ukraine is going to have a field trip with this because I'd love to get his insights on this. Yeah, Joseph probably scratching his head over there saying, Michael, I knew you were going to bring politics in it, before with the jellyfish and then the fucking, TikTok shit. You know me, guys. I love politics as much as I can bring it into the show. But Joseph, the Florida GOP now is calling the COVID-19 vaccine a biological weapon. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, there is certainly a valid case to be made for it.
Yeah.
I tend to not want to go that far because people will just roll their eyes and walk away from you, all some conspiracy nut. There's plenty of facts that line up to that potential conclusion, but I try to stay with the more moderate level talking points. Like I've got an article, tinyurl.com, red pill strategy, where I talk about that. You've got to be careful what you say to who at times, right? If you want to bring somebody to your side, you don't lead with 5G is frying everybody's brain. They're just going to walk away. Or the Wuhan is a bioweapon. Most people are just going to walk away. Stick with the vax are more dangerous than the disease itself, and no doubt it came from Wuhan. There is zero dispute. If you can't get through to people with that, calling it a bioweapon, you're just pissing in the wind.
Well, get this, Joseph. Okay, there's a local county here east of me here, because I reside in Orlando, and the county east of me is in Brevard County, which is over towards Kennedy Space Center, Cocoa Beach, which is also known as the Space Coast here, guys, in Florida. Now, get this. The Brevard County Republican Executive Committee has joined a growing list of Florida GOP chapters calling on Governor Ron DeSantis to ban the COVID-19 vaccine, which they are now calling it, Joseph, a biological weapon, in a resolution this past week. That's what they're calling it. They're calling it a bioweapon. They're sick and tired of it. They're sick. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's companies here, Joseph, probably like your typical Democratic little areas and counties here in Florida that are still forcing the jab on certain employees. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's, and Alex will probably say this when he comes on, but he's saying in the chat, he seems to be in the camp with Fauci, that fraud-G, they're perfectly fine. Normally he's a Biden butt boy, but now he's given the Trump talking points all of a sudden. Is that just to pander to this audience? I don't know, but that's one issue I have with Trump. I'm not a cultist. I support Trump, but I'm not a cultist. He still supports the jab. The Operation Warp Speed was a failure. They're nothing but fancy flu shots. They're not a fucking vaccine. A vaccine makes you immune to something. A flu shot mitigates.
Joseph, the Brevard County with the growing list of Republican counties here in the state of Florida is demanding Governor DeSantis ban it in the state of Florida because they want it out of their state. I mean, don't get me wrong. Governor DeSantis, we know he's running for president, and I love to give a little goof where it's necessary with our guests here, because the last time we chatted, he was like, well, I think Governor DeSantis is going to get into the ticket. Well, if you looked at the polls lately, Governor DeSantis is like at a fucking 20, and what? Donald Trump at a 75? Yeah, I think Donald Trump's got it in the ticket, Joseph. He's done wonders for the state, but he's not presidential material. That's my opinion.
I've said it before. Let me repeat. I'm Trump Gnome 2024. Gnome Scott 2028. Scott DeSantis, whatever, 8 years after that, then DeSantis, whoever, 8 years after that. So
Yeah.
I'm not anti-DeSantis, and frankly, I'm getting tired of both cults. There is a cult for
Yeah.
both. And, you know, Trump derangement syndrome, pathetic. Being
Yeah.
a cultist, equally pathetic. And those two cults going at each other. Both have pros, both have cons. I
Yeah.
deal in principles, not personalities, as we've said over and over and over. No one is perfect.
Over.
I worship no one, no king but King Jesus.
Well, Joseph, you know, here's something here. Okay. There was something that Donald Trump said quite recently that, you know, no one should worship government. You should only worship the Almighty God. And that's what we're seeing right now in America. We're seeing cults. We're seeing, like you mentioned, cults. We're seeing people worship certain, political leadership and political activists and all that other stuff. You shouldn't worship that. Worship the God above you, because a politician is only a man. It's not a God. That's plain and
Exactly.
simple. Facts are facts,
Exactly.
people. Whether you
And
like it or not, those are facts.
it's a shame to say it, but hindsight is always 2020, as we know, right? We
Yeah.
didn't realize it at the time during Reagan. There was some celebrity cultism going on then. They were called
Yeah.
Reagan Democrats, right?
Yeah.
They, I think, were caught up in the celebrity. We would call them Reagan cultists today, or at least I would. The
Yeah.
ones who were real Reagan Democrats who switched to him because of policy became Republicans.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
the other ones that were cultists
yeah.
went right back to pulling the jackass lever
Well-
after his 8 years.
Well, speaking of what we're talking about, Joseph, we got a comment that came in from TikTok last week. We were supposed to plug it in the other day on one of our shows, but thank you, Shaky, for getting that in. Yeah, right on top of that, buddy. But there was a clip that we put together in a graphic. Check this out. With the whole so-called cocaine thing. Remember the cocaine issue in the fucking White House where they're asking Joe Biden about the cocaine? Like, Mr. President, listen to it. You got to check this out. We actually got a reaction from one of our followers on TikTok.
President, what makes you confident
Oh my fucking God.
Yeah, I mean,
The
give me a
guy
break.
can't answer a fucking simple question.
No,
Can't answer a
look.
simple. Hold that thought, Joseph. I want to get our guest in here because, I'm sure he's got some questions to ask here. The guys, ladies and gentlemen, to the Savage Army, Savage Unfiltered audience here. This is Mr. Alex Grover from the country of Ukraine joining us here. Alex, buddy, welcome once again. How you doing, bud?
Good. How are you? I just want to make it clear I'm an American and Norwegian citizen and a former U.S. Navy officer, and I choose to live in Ukraine.
Why is that?
Why not? It's the American dream, right? This is like 1950s America. There's no obesity here. There's a lot of opportunity. The people are great. It's a democratic, free country.
Well,
People are fighting for their lives, and there's strong family values. I mean, we're in the middle of a baby boom here. Marriage is on the uptrend. It's actually a rather amazing place, and I encourage people to immigrate here now and get in on the ground floor of something great.
So Alex, you mentioned one thing before we go further with this discussion here. You labeled the country Ukraine. It's like the American dream going back forward. Like, why is that? Why do you feel it's the American dream in Ukraine, like another form of the American dream?
Well, housing is affordable here. You can work remotely. So I work for an American company. I get an American salary, and I live here. So I don't have a mortgage. Life is good, like I say. If you come here from abroad and you work, and like the shops here, we don't have this like Walmarts. There's still markets out in the street. People are selling stuff on stands. We have a lot of unofficial stores here. So it's very much like 1950s America. Things haven't fully formed up and gone corporate. I mean, my neighbor has chickens in the front yard, and they're not juiced up with hormones. And I can just go buy a chicken off her and cut it up myself and
So
have
you
it for
mentioned
dinner.
one thing. I'm going to chime in right there. I agree with you. America was once great, and before it, went to corporate America and the greed and everything else came into play. I agree with you on that. Basically, what you're saying is that Ukraine is basically better than America because of.
No, I'm not saying that. You're like Fox News, putting words in people's mouth, but you really are a bad version of Fox News. And how do you get to be a third Jewish? We're like a half of mom and a half of dad, and then then we go 1/4 of our each grandparents.
I have more Scottish.
How do you get to 1/3? Can you do that math for me?
Oh, I already looked at the gene pool. It goes back to like, what is it, 5 or 6 generations?
But you get the
little third.
But you get it through your mother's side,
Yeah.
So you would be half or quarter on your mother's side, just so you know.
Well, it was from my mother's side. You're right about that. Yeah, I get more of the the Italian and the Scottish from my father. But yeah, the third is
But I never said they look up to America here. America is very popular.
Well, no, I never said that. You said it was like that.
Yeah, I mean, but I feel like I feel like I'm back in the I grew up in Minnesota in the 70s, and that's where I feel like I'm back. When I'm except a warmer version. Of Minnesota.
I think what Michael meant is that some people might take away what you said as that. And I agree that you didn't say that. And I don't dispute to some degree your validity of that point. Western Ukraine is indeed more American dreamish than we currently are seeing here now. So I won't dispute that.
I want Ukraine to apply for U.S. statehood like the way Texas did during the Mexican-American War.
Oh, boy.
And actually a lot of Ukrainians agree with me. It's only the other Americans who live here. They disagree with me. But
what if we were to make Ukraine a territory like Puerto Rico or something?
There you go.
I would like to see it in a situation where Zelensky could get into the White House and he could get all the weapons he needs to divide Russia into 15 states. That would be... And that could happen. I mean, Prigozhin showed a lot of.
Yeah, that's a pipe dream. But
no,
that's.
Hey, Russia is run by those oligarchs could flip on Putin as soon as they sense weakness.
Right. That's if you believe Prigozhin was earnest and this wasn't a false flag deal that he made in advance with Putin.
I think he drank. I don't think it was planned. I think he drank a bottle of vodka and this was a spontaneous rampage. But it exposed something. This is Russia. They run on emotions. It's like Italy. It's like the American South. People run on emotions.
Well,
wherever there's
I mean, you got to think good right here, Alex. That Russia basically is weakening right now. From the latest updates that Ukraine is basically
that's good. That's good
I
for
guess you
America.
could say in layman's terms, putting Putin in a corner. So maybe you guys win in this whole war. Maybe we can say, hey, the war is done. Maybe hopefully go in a direction.
No. This is going to be East Germany, West Germany. This is going to be North Korea, South Korea, North Vietnam, South Vietnam. It's going to get to a stalemate. We have to wait till Putin dies or gets assassinated. It'll go to a sanctions thing where we turn him into North Korea. And hopefully they're different than North Korea because North Korea has like a monarchy basically, but Russia's more. They're Slavs. They're unruly. I mean, there's even Viking folklore about dealing with the Slavs. They do what they want. Kiev was founded by like Swedish Vikings that were saying, "Who are these people?" They're just wild. So in Russia things can break down if once Russians sense weakness in Putin. There could be a coup. I mean, and you have to understand the people in Siberia. The people in Siberia, they're Muslims. They're like the Chechens. Yeah. I mean, they have their own internal problems.
Yeah, but having an East-West Ukraine and hopefully somebody feed Putin some polonium like he's done to plenty of other people
Yeah.
or whatever to get him out. But be careful what you wish for. The next guy could be just as bad or worse. But you're right. They're all older. They're dying off now. We can hope something happens. But yeah, in East-West Ukraine is indeed far more likely a situation than breaking Russia into 15 states. That would be great, but yeah.
They will do that to themselves.
We can hope.
Get,
we can hope.
well, we can entice the leaders of those different provinces. Hey, if you break and go with us, or and I think the Chinese will try to break Russia too. The Chinese have you read The Bear and the Dragon by Tom Clancy? It actually goes into the Russia-China, rivalry. They're not friendly allies. There's a lot of weakness on the Russian eastern side, and China's loving this.
Yeah,
because they have been slowly encroaching. The Chinese
Alex,
encroaching into Russia.
Yeah, I got a question. Yeah, I got a question for you. What do you think of the latest coming out of former Vice President Mike Pence being drilled by Tucker Carlson the other day?
I saw that, and Tucker Carlson was doing what you were doing, putting words in his mouth, twisting his words.
Oh,
Tucker Carlson is a Russian spy. Tucker Carlson is paid. Yeah,
he's
Tucker
a Russian
Carlson
spy?
Is,
like Donald Trump's a Russian spy too,
he's
right?
He's just like Ron Paul, Tucker Carlson. These guys are all like, Wagner has set up front companies all over Africa, South America. I wouldn't be surprised if they have them in America, and they're somehow funneling money to these people. And these people are so stupid they don't know where the money is coming from. Because whenever you are, make America, but he's like trying to pin Mike Pence down that he's supporting religious oppression. The Russian Orthodox Church here was backing Russian spies. We have a lot of traitors in Ukraine. There's a lot of
my
people
question for you is, what if
Union.
he asked the same question 3, 4, maybe possibly 5 years ago? You think he would have gotten the same answer or the same reaction?
What about what? About Mike Pence was talking about upholding American values.
Yeah, we're talking about how Tucker Carlson was basically, grilling, I guess, Mike Pence on these questions. I'm asking if the same questions were asked 4 or 5 years ago. What if this? But
if my aunt had balls, she'd be my uncle, right? I don't know what was 4 or 5 years ago. The world was a lot different.
Yeah,
there was a lot of other different things going on. Now you have to worry. See, if things get lost in Ukraine, the Russians are going to go for. The Chinese are going to go for Taiwan, and that's our semiconductors. That's our semiconductors.
Now,
semiconductors are like steel. I don't know if you get that. I studied nuclear engineering.
No, I get it.
I worked in the U.S. Navy.
Yeah.
Semiconductors.
Steel is strength. That's what it means. Yeah.
Without semiconductors, we are screwed.
Agreed with that as a former IT guy. Now, regarding Pence, I didn't support Pence for VP for Trump because his record on religious freedom wasn't as great as he tried to play it up to be as governor. And then Putin. Now, some are siding with Putin because Putin said America's lost its Judeo-Christian foundations. Well, he doesn't say that because he cares about any of us. He's saying that to play. He gave the Russian Orthodox Church a little bit of freedom and made them his bitch. Now, there's no real open Christianity there in Russia going on. It's all a facade. It's all part of the KGB operatives' game.
Well, to be honest with
from history,
Joseph, to be honest with you, I don't support Russia or Ukraine. I said it back in the first episode we were talking to Alex. I don't support
neutrality. Neutrality means you support the side who's the stronger.
No, I support
neutrality
peace,
is a
law, and
weakness.
order. That's what I support. Peace, law, and order.
Peace, law, and order comes at the end of a barrel.
Well, if you didn't have war, you would have peace, right? You don't need to have war and conflict.
You would have the next war getting ready to come. That's what happened. That's what they thought. They thought the Cold War was over. The Cold War just paused, and the Russians and the Chinese were building up all along in the background.
Absolutely agree with that.
And it's just like Pearl Harbor. We waited too long, and then it showed up on our doorstep. Except this time, like I said, and the other big problem with Ukraine is if we lose this Ukraine, Russians are not only going to become a gas station, they're going to also become a bread market. They're going to be able to control Africa and the Middle East against us.
Yeah.
They use the grain supplies now to manipulate these countries that have our minerals. You know,
Yeah.
we cannot be isolationists and say, oh, we're going to be. You saw Sweden and Finland join NATO.
Exactly.
Now I'm Scandinavian also. I am a Scandinavian citizen as well. That's crazy for them to take a side, Sweden and Finland. They used to want to be like you, like didn't want to be bothered with anything, but they're taking a side.
Wow.
Yeah, people don't know the history here either. The apologists, again, for the unprovoked invasion of Ukraine a second time. It's like Crimea never happened. But anyway, going back, before Hitler invaded anybody, the Russians, the Soviets, were exploiting Ukraine, occupying Ukraine back then. For that, the breadbasket. Ukraine was the breadbasket of the Soviet Union.
Yeah, and now they're using it to manipulate Africa, manipulate the Middle East, and so they could do a lot of damage to everywhere. This is a bad situation, and eventually we're going to have to fight this war. So at least, we got the Ukrainians doing the work, right? And I saw a TV report that a factory in Pennsylvania making 155 millimeter artillery rounds is going full speed. They're trying to hire now. This like Scranton, Pennsylvania or something is coming back. Like the ammunition business in America is like taking
the manufacturing industry in Pennsylvania. I mean, at one point it was very, very strong. There was a lot of, huge economy out there. Anywhere in the in the Upper East.
Yeah, that was the 1980s Cold War.
Yeah.
No, that was before that. I mean, the manufacturing industry goes back to like the 40s and 50s in the East Coast.
That's the beginning of the Cold War. The Cold War started in 45.
Yeah.
Come on, Mike.
And
I know that.
I want to interject something from the last episode before we get too further along, too, before somebody wants to chime in the chat about me being a Zelensky puppet or whatever. Zelensky is a corrupt stooge. Biden, a corrupt stooge. That doesn't mean I'm going to side with Putin just to hate on Zelensky and Biden. Biden, Zelensky, Putin, they're all corrupt, which is why I'm for bullets.
Oh, of course they're corrupt. I mean, you go back to the latest.
But this is life. Life is about getting the least worst choices. This is what we got to deal with. Everything is being kept in a computer, and we can go back and get these people for corruption afterwards. But right now we have a bigger problem, the Russians. That's what Reagan talked about, the Russians. McCarthy in the film industry in Hollywood, he knew the Russians were infiltrating us. This is the problem now. This is big. Because the Russians the Chinese are watching this. The Chinese are watching this very closely, and then they're going to make their moves on the Philippines, on Taiwan, they can even get into Vietnam. They can get into Indonesia.
Well, we all know the mega powers of the world is right now. It's China. China's on the top of the list. China wants to dominate every landmass.
Yeah, we can still defeat China.
They have a very large army. One of the largest armies in the world.
They can't move it. They don't have.
Of course, they're very intelligent.
They've been working on a lot of new.
They're not ready yet.
Yeah, but I agree with that.
They're not ready yet.
But ever since the end of World War II, people haven't woke up to the fact we are not Fortress America anymore. With the advent of ICBMs or even balloon bombs with an EMP, we're not America alone. We can't be anymore. Those oceans don't protect us. And there are some people just don't fucking wake up to that point.
Well, Joseph, according to China, the latest coming out of China with this, Joseph, you ever heard this General Mike Mahalan? He's predicting a war with China in 2025. That's only like 2 years from now. In 2025, he's actually predicting a war with China. And he's saying that it's going to lead to massive training with the Pacific involving more than 3,000 troops. 3,000 troops, more of what China has now in 2025. Now, if they're able to recruit another 3,000 troops on top of the troops that they have now, America's
Yeah,
they're in trouble. They better.
They're building while meanwhile the U.S. is introducing wokeism to our troops, and they wonder
Yeah.
why recruitment is down. Yeah, in a couple of years. We may have to reinstitute a draft to get real people who can actually fight a war because our armed forces will be mainly a bunch of sissies.
Well, the obesity pandemic is going to undermine our armed forces quicker than wokeism. You know, we have a pandemic in America, and it's not COVID, it's obesity. If we didn't have obesity, COVID would have just been another flu virus, you know?
Yes.
But
Yeah,
obesity
right.
exacerbated everything. Because I was in Norway at the time of COVID, and they told us to go outside and go in the gym and get fit so when you do catch COVID, your lungs can take it. And we had the
Exactly.
lowest COVID death rate in the world.
Yeah, most of the COVID deaths were people with comorbidities. And I know
Yeah.
a few people that died of it. One had asthma, and another was indeed obese. So
I mean, I started running like 10 kilometers a day at age 49. That was our COVID prevention in Norway. But I can tell you the obesity is the pandemic in America, and it's the food industry that's out of control. And I got a feeling that food industry, they say, was funded by the ex-Nazis who took all that gold out of Germany to Argentina and funneled that into New York and started propping up processed food companies.
Well, the whole COVID thing, Alex, was a fucking joke. I mean, they tried to hype it up as much as possible. Oh, it's the next deadly scare of the world. It's going to kill millions upon millions. It probably did, but I mean, you know, was it the big hysteria that everybody thought it was? No, it was a fucking joke.
No,
it was
because half of India
for fucking control.
Half of India would have died out if it was real. The death rate in India was very low. So there was there was nothing, you know, stopping COVID to kill half of India.
Yeah.
But the problem in COVID is like it wasn't the vaccine. The people are looking at the vaccine. The vaccine is nothing. It's just sugar water. It's a hand sanitizer that strips off all your protective bacteria and protective oils off your hands, and then you go touch stuff, and it causes autism in children. You know, putting isopropyl alcohol right into your bloodstream.
Well,
That's what no one is talking about. The hand sanitizer.
Alex, did you get the jab?
Hmm?
Did you get the jab?
What job?
The jab, the COVID jab.
3 times because I knew it was sugar water and I needed the vaccine passport to travel.
Oh.
You know, I didn't believe in the vaccine so much. I was okay taking
kind of like
jab.
the Nazis, like where's your papers? I need your papers. I need your papers. That's basically what it seems like.
You got to get through. You got to go to work every day. You know, and it's like the jab was harmless.
It
What I
depends-
did avoid.
I didn't get the
was-
jab. I'm just well, Mike. See, I didn't get the jab, and I still won't get the jab.
I didn't touch the hand sanitizer.
Yeah, I mean, I had people looking at me like, you got to wear a mask. I'm like, fuck, what the fuck? I'm not putting no fucking mask on.
A paper mask protects you from Wuhan virus
Fucking
as
shit.
well as, you know, I can't
The jab was sugar water. The hand sanitizer was a conspiracy. They had everyone looking right, just like an illusionist, just like David Copperfield, while they do something in the left.
They had this country brainwashed with COVID, and
they already, and you know, these conspiracy nuts, they already got you with McDonald's and Coca-Cola and all this other stuff. Why would they put something out there that everyone would resist? They'll put everything into our cheeseburgers. They've already got a distribution system through McDonald's. They can fill the cheeseburgers up with any drug combination they want and then get that into the population.
Yeah.
That's your conspiracy. The cigarettes, the cheeseburgers, the Oreo cookies, the Ritz crackers, any food that comes in a box, that's your conspiracy. The jab is just sugar water that they got paid for.
Through Big Pharma. It was a Big Pharma payout.
Sugar water doesn't cause myocarditis, and I know a few people that got it right after the jab.
Fatness causes myocarditis. And most Americans are
thin
fat.
People.
Being
thin
fat.
People. I'm talking about thin people.
Those are people who took probably antidepressants or took some
All
other
right, since
things,
we're on COVID
LSD or something in the past.
Yeah, since we're on COVID here, I'm gonna close it out here shortly here.
Bullshit.
Yeah, I'm going to close it out here shortly with this.
I agree
1 second,
with the
Joseph.
processed food stuff is a problem. Yeah. And what was that doctor's name we had went on about that a few weeks ago? I don't disagree with that, but I think you're just so stuck on your one fucking conspiracy that you can't let go.
Joseph,
I don't know, I'm
52
buddy. And having a baby after 3 jabs,
Yeah, 1 second,
It
guys.
doesn't kill or affect
Joseph,
everybody.
1 second, buddy. I got to close it out, man. You're fucking talking over me. Jesus. Hold on. I'm going to close it out with this last segment here. Since we're on COVID, what's your insights with the whole COVID thing with Florida? We were kind of talking about that in the beginning of the show. That GOP Republican leaders want to have it banned in Florida. Do you think it's a good thing? And before you answer that, do you think other GOP leadership in other states here in America should jump on that bandwagon and have it banned?
I think it's a nothing burger. I think they should move on to the obesity pandemic, and they should break up large-scale farms and get people having 400.
Well, you're never going to break up the obesity pandemic in this country. If people want to eat fucking fast food, Alex, if they want to be fat slobs, they're going to be fat slobs for the rest of the day.
It creates a national security risk.
How's that?
I disagree with that.
The generals are even talking about that. We can't even.
It does. It does. It puts a burden. It puts a burden on taxpayers and stuff through stupid fucking programs like WIC and food stamps and stuff. Which I'm totally
what you do is you
but...
make processed food in McDonald's like a luxury, and then you make potatoes almost for free, and then it'll be back to 1950s America where poor people were hot. Remember the poor girls in Alabama and the poor girls in Mississippi? They were good looking. Because they were eating potatoes and chicken and everything from the farm. They weren't going and eating mac and cheese.
Well, the 1950s is gone, Alex. I hate to say. I mean,
No, but they can bring it back.
They can, but no one wants to go back to that lifestyle.
You're seeing a bunch of these like woke dudes now joining the army and wanting to volunteer to be on the Lithuanian and Russian border. Yeah. All of a sudden things are changing here.
No one's going to go back to that lifestyle. I hate to say it, but no one's going to go back.
Yeah. I just think COVID is a nothing burger. It's a distraction. Yeah. I think there's bigger things to focus on. I mean, the pythons in the Everglades are a bigger issue than I think COVID. Yeah. To kill, all these rednecks like threw their pythons into the swamp and they went out of control and they're eating all the wildlife. To me, that's a bigger issue than COVID. COVID is just a nothing burger. COVID is gone. I mean, this is our first normal summer after COVID. We recovered, just like Spanish flu of 1920.
I said this 3 years ago. That COVID's going to be a nothing type of topic by the middle of 2022, early 2023. It's going to be gone. People looked at me like I was nuts. I said to people like I would travel sometimes on like planes and like Amtrak or Greyhound or something.
But you're like a radio. You're like a radio host. You could change the discussion to pythons and change the discussion to obesity, so we attack the real pandemic. You could use this mouthpiece you got, and instead of just perpetuating Tucker Carlson and just following him, you could be a leader and lead something new and talk about pythons.
No. I respect Tucker Carlson because what he's doing. I mean, he's brave.
What is he doing?
What he's doing is he's basically he's voicing out his opinions as an average real American instead of working for a fucking network show like Fox and reading off of a script. That's great that he fucking left Fox.
Opinions are like assholes. Everyone's got one and they all stink, right? So
his ratings are doing a hell of a lot great now that he's left.
But he's
Fox.
not proposing solutions. They just go on there and they just it's like American media. Just make a lot of noise, but don't propose concrete solutions. We have a concrete solution here. We tax processed foods and all this unnatural corporate food and subsidize the 400-acre farms so that food is grown locally and every part of America has its own local character and its own local food, instead of having this food that's grown in Kansas served up in Florida, right? From a feedlot. Steroid-filled beef and all this stuff. It's making us. The cows should be local. Food should not take any more than 8 hours to travel from farm to table. We got to bring that back. You could do that with your power. That we get back to this. We break up these corporate farms and, we give people an opportunity to become small middle-class farmers. That's what made America great. When we were eating bison, when we were hunting bison on the free range instead of eating cows from a feedlot. But now the conservatives are defending that. They're defending all this genetically engineered food. Oh, that's my beef. You're cutting into my cheap burgers. McDonald's should be $55. If that beef was raised properly,
Yeah.
it should be a luxury. We should
Wow.
a dollar hamburger should disturb people.
Well,
And like
we'll
I
have
said,
to.
if they're putting
Yeah.
if they're putting stuff in your DNA, it's not through the vaccine. They've already done it through the cheeseburgers.
Yeah.
They've already
Well-
done it invisibly.
Well,
You
we'll
know?
have to see what happens, Alex. We're running low on time, but it was great having you on the show. Really,
Yeah,
I
thank
wanted
you.
to get some insights with Ukraine and with the latest coming out of DeSantis.
Come on
and,
out here. Come on out here. We'll do a
Oh
live
no, I'm
stream.
not going out to Ukraine. No.
Oh,
I don't want.
Mike Pence was
I
out
don't
here
want to be like, oh
twice.
shit, a bomb. No, I don't want to do that.
Hey, what? Some rockets went off by our house, and it shook our apartments. Just
No, I'm
couple
good. I
days
love
ago,
living.
and we
I
just
love
went back
living
to
in the
bed.
Sunshine State. I love living in the Freedom State. It's great here. The weather sucks. It's 115 degrees today, but it is what it is.
Safer here than there. You got to worry about pythons and random shooters over there.
I'll worry about a python and a snake and an alligator more than I would worry about a fucking bomb. Thanks a lot, Alex, for
thank
joining
you.
us. Take
We'll
it
see
easy,
you.
buddy.
Yeah,
Aye.
I want to destroy Alex's moronic defense of the Wuhan jabs with one
we got to get
sentence.
going. We got like less than a minute, but
Give
go
me
ahead, buddy.
one sentence. Did cigarettes kill everyone that smoked them? No.
I don't know.
Of course not. My dad smoked. He didn't die of lung cancer or anything like that. Know plenty of people that had smoked didn't die because of that. It's like the jab. He's trying to push anecdotal evidence of himself while ignoring a bunch of other statistical, factual
Joseph,
analysis.
he's just, and I'm sorry, I didn't mean to yell at you, but I was trying to let everybody know and everything, but he's just that typical spinner, a Ukrainian liberal. That's what we can call him. That's what he is. A Ukrainian liberal trying to spin, Ukraine is beautiful and lovely and lovely.
Hey, I don't doubt Western Ukraine
Whatever.
probably is. Kiev is probably
I'm
a very
glad,
beautiful place.
Joseph, even though America's going through shit, I'm still proud to be an American, and I will never leave
Absolutely.
America for another country. And like he did, he left America. He originally was from America, and he left it for Ukraine. So you know what? That's his choice. I'll never do that. I love America, and I'll die in America.
Yeah, we need people like us and those in our audience, not the snowflakes. Fuck you. To be here and fight, right?
Yeah.
We need to roar. Restore our American Republic. Go to savagearmy.com, get a Restore Our American Republic shirt, mug, whatever. Show your patriotism and that you're with the
SavageArmy.com. Go to SavageArmy.com. I'll fill it in, guys. We're about to close it out. Let me close it out for you guys. Join the Savage Army. Head over to SavageArmy.com. Pick up the merch, guys. Got a lot of new stuff dropping this week. Some more Joseph exclusives as well as Savage Unfiltered exclusives on the show. Guys, the new website will be up and running by next Wednesday. We are still in our soft launch. So if you head over to Facebook and our regular social media platforms, you will see the website plugged into our social media platforms. Now, it's a soft launch, guys. The domain will be up and running by the middle of next week of Wednesday. So you're going to want to check that out, guys. All major stuff on there, including Joseph's podcasts, Constitutionalist Politics podcast, as well as our good friends David Frazier, Cousin Sauce, the Sauce Report, Static Radio, which Bob Lament, Dr. Bob, will be on the show next week on our live stream. So you're going to want to check that out as we're going to be talking about sex bots on social media. Can't stand them. They're everywhere. So join us. That should be a good episode. I hope you enjoyed this episode, guys, with our guest here from Lviv, Ukraine. We had him on before, and we got into some politics and everything. It was great. And I also want to thank people that were checking us out on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook, guys. Tremendous. Thank you very much. Remember, guys, every Saturday on our live streams, commercial free. Gotta love it. Thanks very much, guys. Remember, keep it savaged, and we'll see you next time. Take it easy.